Paul, Leicester City, according to Football Insider, Steve Cooper is in the firing line with just 10 points, sitting 15th place. Do you think he's a couple bad results away from losing his job? He's got a tough match away to Old Trafford before this international break, and then hosting Chelsea on the other end. Not exactly ideal scenario for him.
No, but it's the Premier League. That's where Leicester want to be. And, you've got to be realistic where they are. What's their aim this season? To stay in the Premier League, you've just got in it. It's, it's any Premier League manager is a couple of bad results away from losing his job. But I think the job that Steve Cooper's doing there, there's going to be a section of supporters that are harder to win over than others because of his links to Nottingham Forest. And I think that's that's been an issue, because as soon as results don't start going the right way, then that will always be a thing that's a stick that's used to beat him with. But I think the way that the team are playing, the biggest thing for Leicester is to ensure that they stay in the Premier League. You've got to play Manchester United, you've got to play Chelsea at some point this season. Again, they're not season-defining games for Steve Cooper or Leicester. And if the board, if you decide a manager's future on those two games, then it's an unusual one. His future will be decided over a period of time. And I think, like many other teams in the Premier League at that place, where in the bottom echelons of the Premier League, owners, chairmen, CEOs will press the panic button when it's looking like Premier League safety is becoming difficult, and that's when the manager will be changed. I'd be surprised if they sack him after a couple of indifferent results, if that's what they get against those teams. But again, a couple of performances and some points out of those games, it can change things very quickly, as we've seen this season. They got a very unlikely win away at Southampton, which pulled them away from the bottom three. They've just got to make sure they're better than three other teams this season of Leicester, because they're a team that are in transition.
And Pete, if Steve Cooper were to get sacked, would Leicester be able to attract a David Moyes or a Graham Potter, or it's not necessarily an attractive enough job for those Premier League proven managers?
I can't see why not. Leicester, a few seasons ago, were winning the FA Cup. We're regularly finishing just outside in the top six under Brendan Rodgers as well. Obviously, there's been a lot of change at Leicester since those days as well, but they're still a progressive club, got a brilliant training ground, everything else, good owners as well, who will try and help the club out as much as possible. I think Graham Potter was very close to getting the job before Steve Cooper was appointed, and the job was his if he wanted it, but for whatever reason it didn't go ahead, and the club turned to Steve Cooper to take over from Enzo Maresca following his departure to Chelsea. So I'm sure Graham Potter would be keen on a move back to the Premier League, and that's what Leicester City have on offer right now. They're a Premier League club, and if they stay up, they'll be hoping to build on that next season and firmly establish themselves again, like they did under the tenure of Brendan Rodgers. David Moyes, we know as well. He's been down there before in relegation fights. He took over at West Ham when they were into relegation fights and ended up doing good jobs there, keeping them up, and then building on it in his second spell at West Ham, with West Ham becoming regular contenders in Europe and winning the Conference League in the end as well. So I think it would be a good job for both. I'm sure both managers right now, we see them, they're doing the media circuit right now as well, getting their name back out there, that they're both readily available. So it looks like both managers themselves are ready to get back into that dugout and are just waiting for the right opportunity.